Welcome to ParksCenter for, what is today? It's September 26th, 2021. I'm your host, Rob Whiteside. Tonight, we're going to be talking about all things 50th. We got the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World coming up. All excited about it. And we've got a panel of people that are just madly excited to talk about it. Emma Cooley, how are you?
Good. Rise, resist, repeat, baby.
I mean, if you say so. Coach Layton.
Hey, it's game time, folks. How we doing? Very excited to get cracking. Lots of stuff to talk to. Let's get after it.
Didn't sound rehearsed at all. And Rob, the other Rob.
Hey, guys. Good to talk to you. Great stuff to talk about tonight.
Yeah, so the 50th, I don't know if you guys have heard, on October 1st, this coming Friday, Walt Disney World is going to turn 50. And so we wanted to take a look first at all of the cool things that have been announced just this week that are coming up, and then we'll do a little bit of news, and then we're at the end of the show, we're going to talk about what's the best thing about Disney World, what do we think is the best, what are our favorites, and that kind of stuff. Sound good, guys?
Yeah.
Cool. So the first thing we're going to talk about is merch. There is a lot of merch, and as a matter of fact, I am so glad that I'm not in the Orlando area right now, because I would just be doing this like crazy. So Emma, of the stuff that you've seen, what kind of stuff are you excited about?
I mean, let me tell you, just boxed in on Friday. By the way, if you missed it, go watch it over on the Unplanned Downtime channel after we're done here. Oh, I froze. Dang it. Okay, I'm back. We're good. We're good. I was just so excited. And again, like, I know when I'm there October 4th, it's going to be very hard for me to resist that entire castle collection. When I saw that Loungefly and just how gorgeous it was, it's so tempting. But I really love what they're doing. I love that a lot of it is, some of it's subtle, some of it's out there, so I feel like there's something for everybody. But yeah, I really love the color scheme. Honestly, I didn't know how I was going to feel about the iridescent stuff, but seeing it on the air, yeah, I'm really excited about all the merch, but especially the castle collection.
Yeah, you mentioned the Castle collection. We've also got the Celebration collection. And there's so many different collections, and it's kind of good that they've divided it up into collections. There's that soap that everybody has been fighting to get, the Mickey suit. And then there's some other like Celebration plush and stuff like that. So I want to go back to Rob on this one and say, like, I feel like you're excited about the Vault collection, or is there something else you're really into?
I'm rocking the tracksuit 100%. I'm getting
that's scary.
As soon as I get my hands on it. And I really like. There's a couple of shirts, one similar to the one I'm wearing now, only 50th, and a couple mugs that I really like too. I'm excited to get my hands on some of the stuff.
So how are you guys? Like, again, I feel like we're all going to buy way too much stuff, and especially like in the moment. I mean, in the moment, if somebody doesn't stop me, I'm going to buy this. So I don't need this. This is ridiculous. But at the same time, it has 50th on it. It's limited edition. Got to have it. So I don't know. I mean, Coach, I don't know. Like, based on your background, you don't look like the kind of guy that likes to accumulate stuff. I could be wrong on that. So tell me what are this you're looking forward to, and how you're going to decide what you're going to get.
See, I think there's two schools of thought on this. I think there's the people that there's people that buy like the year merchandise. So if you go in like 2019, you buy the 2019 stuff or the 2020 stuff. I think the 50th anniversary is an exception. So there's a lot of different things for a lot of different people. And I think you've got the nostalgia side of the house with the Vault collection. You've got the kind of fly-by-nighters where they'll just buy anything with a 50 on it. And there's other stuff too specific to the park. I mean, even the whole gift card thing they did, I think, is a brilliant idea. What do a lot of us do? We get tons of Disney gift cards, and then we just kind of throw them out. We don't really recharge them. I think there's a lot of really good options. And it's just, I think it's almost overwhelming, but I think they're trying to hit every single market, trying to hit the nostalgia side. They're trying to hit the fly-by-nighters. And I think for me, I wanted something that's going to be, that I can display or be useful, maybe a shirt or a hoodie, but I think it's one of those things where you end up having a lot of different options. Almost kind of like the festivals that have good stuff that actually is good merchandise that you can actually like use and display or use on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say display? I have got the product for you, my friend. You need this 12 coin commemorative set, And the and the e-ticket, I mean, you need all of this. You need all of this for the low price of all your money.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, I look at that stuff and I go, wait, it's limited edition. It's for the 50th. It's coins. I don't know if I count as your fly-by-nighter category you were talking about, Coach, but you know, that gold e-ticket. I just look at that and go, wow, I really should probably own that. And then, like, what would I do with it? I would put it probably in a box somewhere where no one could touch it. But the coins look really cool to me because they are this, you know, one for each of the main early attractions. So it's not just like, you know, launch day attractions, because there's Pirates of the Caribbean, which opened, as we all know, after the park had opened. But these coins, I mean, they're very cool looking and limited edition, and coming from someone who has haunted every McDonald's on the East Coast for a random piece of plastic, this is the kind of thing that I'd like is right in my wheelhouse, except for the fact that it costs $180. So, Rob,
Right.
I think he already cashed in his daughter's college funds, so I don't know that he'll be getting this. What were you going to say, Emma?
No, I was just gonna kind of to the flip side of being excited about the merch is how much they've upcharged a lot of it. Like, isn't one of the Spirit jerseys like $80 or something, right? Instead of, I mean, they already upped the price to 75 or 74.99, and then there's like that extra $5 on top of it for being, you know, this limited edition thing. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I already feel like $70, like I won't spend that on a normal Spirit jersey, and then with just the price increase, so it's tempting, but honestly, that's the one thing I don't appreciate is how much the prices have gone up with merch across the board, with especially, I mean, it's already happened, but I mean, especially with this particular release.
Hey, Emma, there's a global shortage in iridescent, so it's driving up the cost of all the products. That's why you're seeing the increase.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you can't afford the Spirit jersey, you don't want to pay that money, you could get the miniature one, and that would actually kind of help solve your problem. You could just get the new emo version. You know what? As much as it seems silly that there's a new emo version, I also think that's really cool. And the new emo ears, all of that stuff is amazing. And I'm going to be there on the 1st. My head is going to be spinning. There was already the preview collection, which came and went, right? So all of that stuff is gone, thank goodness, or else I would have to, you know, own all of that. And then you've got like the Vault collection, and you know, and it's just, there's so much stuff here. So the good news is you can go to our website, WDWNT.com. You can check out all the merch. It's all laid out there for you. But the bad news is there's a lot of it, and I feel like I'm gonna need to like somehow compartmentalize in my head. Like, I'm only getting this, I'm only getting the pins, or I'm only getting, you know, something from this collection, because I don't feel like I can afford it all. Like even Starbucks, like the Starbucks, you know, has this been their series for the 50th from, you know, from each park with this bag, and I mean, seriously, they're killing me. And this is going on for 18 months. I don't think this is the last we've seen of merchandise.
No, and I you know, I think that's a good thing though, that there is a lot of merch, is that I mean, yes, resellers are an issue, but the fact that they're now limiting like the 2 per item for everything, I think is going to help. Like, what merch you want, your odds are higher that you're going to see it somewhere on property, like whenever you go throughout the 18 months. So I guess that's the good thing, is that there truly is something for everyone, and it should last a while. I say should. You never know. But I guess that is the good news. I don't know. Yeah,
sure. Yeah. So anyway, again, a lot of merch to look at. And as Coach mentioned earlier, there are different ways that you can pay for this merch, including these great new iridescent gift cards. So there's one that is for the 50th, which has all these cool icons on it, which is, you know, again, very cool. I'm not sure I understand the concept of making it large and square like a coaster, but okay. I mean, you know, it differentiates it from any other gift card, but except for the big words gift card on it, I'm not sure I would have known right ahead that that's what that was. And then we also have them for each individual park, as if, you know, one wasn't enough. So, you know, definitely get in there and get some gift cards. It's definitely a cool little looking thing. A lot of iridescence here. Rob, maybe this is where they spend all their iridescent money. But also, Disney Visa card holders can go on and change their card to look like this one. And
I ordered mine.
yeah, me too. I also ordered yours. So when mine comes, I'll use yours to buy all the merch. It'll be all good. So I mean, and this is a nice perk, though, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah, it's cool that you can, it's a normal thing, right? You can actually switch out your design of your Disney card whenever you want to. So it is kind of cool just to be able to participate from afar.
Yep. And Coach, are you gonna buy gift cards for all of your friends when you're down there?
I'm probably gonna. Yeah, I mean, you think about it in terms of what you want to do. You always want to buy a souvenir for somebody, right? And this is one of those things where they can actually spend it and keep it. I always have that kind of battle with myself where it's like, do I need to buy a card to put the gift card into? Would rather spend the money I was going to spend on the card into the gift card, so the gift card's larger. This is a way you can kind of do both, and then they have a souvenir afterwards. So yeah, I mean, like Rob, I've switched the card over too. I'm a Disney sucker, so I can just be a free billboard every time I pay with my credit card. People go, oh, that's pretty cool. I want to spend money at Disney World. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think it's one of those ones where it is square though, so I don't really know how you put that in your wallet. It's kind of weird, but functionality over form, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Has there been any communication about which of these will be park exclusives versus will there be any of it available on Shop Disney?
Go to your local Disney store. Ooh. No. No.
Stab me in the gut.
I mean, I would assume these are only available in the park because they all are park branded, and they don't say Disney like store. They just say Disney gift card. But maybe, I mean, maybe they'll be available in there. So that's, you know what, when Coach goes down, Rob, he'll get you one.
Sure.
And then it all
size XL.
feel like that's not going to happen. Okay, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about the finishing touches that they're putting on, which, again, when we first heard about the 50th anniversary, everything seemed like it was going to be great. Then there was that whole COVID thing that happened, and then we were like, what are we really going to be getting? It really feels like they are, like, turning the dial to 11, and I love it. I love the fact that there are so many different things being done across property, all this different merch, the gift cards, you know, things outside the bubble like the, you know, the Chase card and the McDonald's toys, which in post-show we'll have a big conversation about that. But these are there are all these little touches that they're doing to get everything ready for the 50th. I mean, stuff I wasn't expecting, like touching up the paint on Peter Pan. I mean, that kind of stuff is really cool. All the color changes that they did on It's a Small World, that kind of stuff was really neat. I'm just excited to see like stuff like this, like the Princess Fairy Tale Hall Gold repainting. It's like I don't want to overuse the John Hammond thing because I think Tom always says it, but it's like they spared no expense at this point. They're very, on top of making sure everything is just right. There was the article about how they're cleaning the roof of Space Mountain, which has that happened before? I don't know, because it always feels like it's not in the best of coloring when I see it. And then there's also, they've covered the guitar, which desperately needed some work on this one as well. So with all this stuff that's going on, is there any of this that surprises you guys? Anything that you looked at and you went, oh, this is, didn't expect them to do this? Or is this exactly what you expected, but maybe you expected them to do it earlier? Rob, let me start with you.
Yeah, I know this is probably just the negative thought in my head that it almost feels like they were coming to the end of the fiscal year and had some extra money and decided to go, you guys know how corporate budgets work. It's kind of use it or lose it. If it's left over at the end of the year, you typically lose the funding. So it just feels like, there was just a mad dash to get everything done at the end of the year.
Yeah. Coach?
Yeah, this is one of those things that, for me, from a management standpoint, they just dropped the ball. You had the parks were closed. You could have gone through with a small maintenance crew and systematically hit every single ride, had some things prepared in terms of where you're at. This seems very much like a hair on fire type, let's get as many people in as we possibly can and get this done type stuff, even to the point of the confectionery. It's going to open October 2nd, and clearly someone went, yeah, no, that's not okay. It needs to be before the 50th. So I don't know. I'm excited it's getting done, certainly. I think there's a lot of little touches in terms of even on Main Street with the, on the website we reported about, with the different tapestries and things like that are being done. But again, it's one of those things where if something's rushed, is it really getting the care and sort of the time that it needs? That's the only thing that scares me a little bit is it going to be done well? As long as it's done well, I don't necessarily care when it gets done, but I just hope that it's done with the care and respect that it deserves. That's all. So I'm anxious to see what it looks like.
Yeah, same. So another little touch that came up is the electric water pageant is getting a 50th scene with the music and the lights, and this again I think is a really neat little touch that they're doing, something that they're adding to the mix here. So Emma, any other thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, the timing of the repainting doesn't surprise me. I mean, you want to wait as long as possible to do that because the Florida sun will cause everything to fade, so that didn't shock me. Again, and I've said this rant many times about maintenance and how behind they've gotten on with their animatronics and everything, so I won't rehash that, but I think they didn't take advantage of the closure enough to do that regular maintenance that they should be doing on those, on their attractions. But it is nice to be seeing these touches, especially with the electrical water pageant. That's one of my favorite things. And so that just made me really happy when I saw that they were adding something for the 50th.
So good.
But yeah, nothing really surprising. Just wish they would have done attraction maintenance sooner.
I mean, I feel like you're asking a lot, Emma. I really do.
I mean, I know. It makes too much sense. It really does.
Well, but you know what, though? You're talking about how close they needed to be to the event to do the painting, but when did they start, the toll plaza for the Magic Kingdom, the gates to the Magic Kingdom? That was forever ago, right? I mean, that's true. Almost a year ago. So I think that, it could be closer to what Rob's thinking is maybe they got an extra purse of money either because it was something that somebody at corporate was like, hey, so everything's going to look great, right? And they're like, can we borrow some money for some paint? Because there's a couple things we want to do. Disney is usually great at maintenance, and I think that they do a great job on things that I wouldn't expect them to be paying attention to. When you go over to Universal and you see Seuss Landing that's supposed to be bright and vibrant and it's sun faded, you go, well, thank goodness Disney takes care of that kind of stuff. We certainly have seen a little bit of a slide in that when it comes to things like animatronics recently, which is, takes some of the confidence level out of that. But, overall, I'm excited to see some of the stuff that they've done. They've redone pavement. They've been redoing, and that's been happening all along. They've been redoing paint. But it does seem like, again, this has gone all of a sudden from 0 to 60 in what they're doing, and it could be a money thing, or it could be just because we're getting, we're right there. Every time I pull up the Disney World website and it has that little countdown, I just get this anxiety, it's almost here. And I'm sure there are people who are there who are feeling the same way, oh my gosh, it's almost here. They're probably going to be right up to the last minute getting stuff ready.
Yeah, but I hope it's a money thing. I hope you're right, though. Sorry, just because that means if they're actually making enough of a profit to add more things, hopefully that'll be a good sign for the months to come with the celebration.
Yeah, Rob, what were you going to say?
I can also imagine an executive walkthrough last month, and all of a sudden, the executives are seeing a bunch of, lackluster performance or appearance of the rides, and then getting some money to throw at it.
Possible, yeah.
I mean, to Emma's point, real quick, with the electrical water pageant. That's an OG attraction. That's 50 years old. I mean, and you're just bookending it. That is awesome. They're not screwing it up. They're not trying to change it. And it's one of those rare things, I think, where they're honoring the nostalgia that they really haven't done with this celebration. So that got me I'm excited to see, especially with the music and everything. And I know Tom had reported it on News Today where he said if they could do it with the with that toony kind of electrical water pageant type of style, that would be really cool. So I'm hoping they don't screw the music part of that up, but it's exciting. I can't wait to see that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Speaking of exciting, 50th fireworks, I feel like we've been talking about enchantment for a while and harmonious since the dawn of time. And also, I can't hear the words harmonious without the word barges after it, because I feel like we've always been talking about the harmonious barges. So it's exciting to me that we're finally going to get to see what these shows look like. There was a first look, which apparently we're not going to see. It's fine. We're all fine. we had so many things to talk about that like my computer is saying no mas. But we got a first look at the show or like the show lights for Enchantment. That's on our website. We also got news that they're going to be live streaming both of the events. So I guess I can just cancel my trip because I can just live stream the whole thing, right? Thoughts?
No.
I mean, I actually appreciate the live stream since I can't be there the day of. You know, I actually thought it was funny. I was like, I wonder if somebody was paying attention to WDWNT and the live stream for the Golden Jamboree, which you should get your ticket to at goldenjamboree.com if you haven't already. But anyway, so I appreciate that. Like, it's nice for people who maybe can't travel or especially those people who are overseas and are huge Disney fans that aren't allowed to come into the U.S. yet. So I thought that was nice, but it just kind of made me laugh, like that it was way after, after WDWNT decided to have an event that Disney, of course, announces that they're also having one. But yeah, I'm excited to, they have some pretty cool Imagineers and other Disney legends lined up for that. So I'm pretty hyped.
Well, okay, so here's the lighting for the Enchantment, which it's very interesting looking. I'm not sure how this is going to look when you blend it all together, but it does look like there's some projection mapping happening, so you could check out the whole video on our website. But I'm excited to see this in person because, as we've talked about before, I was a huge fan of Wishes. Happily Ever After may be one of the best shows that I've ever seen. Just as far as an emotional grab, as far as the pyrotechnics mixed with the story, mixed with the projection mapping, it's an amazing show. And so when I'm, thinking of what could be better than that, I'm holding out hope that Enchantment just blows us away. But at the same time, Harmonious has gotten a lot, like we talked about, a bad rep about these barges. This looks like it's alive. It looks like some sort of like an octopus situation happening, but the screens look kind of amazing to me, and I think that's what this has all been about, is getting these screens up and running. So guests may be able to soft open this on September 29th, which is also the final night for Happily Ever After, so it's like a Sophie's Choice of where you're going to be. For me, I'm going to be seeing the last Happily Ever After.
Me too.
Yeah. I never even asked Rob, Coach, are you guys planning on being there for the first or no?
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I'm actually I was planning on going on the I was planning on going on the 10th, but I had to reschedule. I'm going to be going the first week of November.
Gotcha. Well, then you're going to want to tune into the streams, the live streams on the 29th and 30th for Enchantment and Harmonious. So make sure you're by a screen then. Coach, what's your plan?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't with being a college coach. We got a lot of stuff going on, but it's one of those things where I think this is one of those things where I don't know if Disney actually knows that it's doing the right thing. One thing Disney always used to do a great job of was building that anticipation of that vacation, building that anticipation of getting the magic bands, getting the welcome such and such family, can't wait, building that anticipation of that, something to look forward to. And I think a live stream, as much as it seems counterintuitive, why would I go if I can just watch it online? I think it's tapping into sort of trying to build that nostalgia and say, hey, you really need to go. This is going to be really cool. You should see this in person. So, again, if they stole it from WWNT, it wouldn't be the first time they took a great idea of ours and claimed it months later. So, hey, going to self-promote. It is what it is. But I think it's a good idea. I'm going to be watching for sure.
Yeah, and to add to that, Coach, I honestly think the stream is going to be great, but I don't think it's going to do the shows justice. Both of those shows look so gigantic in scope. It's like you have to be there to believe it. And I have a feeling, especially with Main Street being projection mapped fully, that's going to be something where you're going to want to watch the show and then watch it from different angles because you're not going to be able to catch all of it in one sitting. And the same thing for Harmonious as well, So I think that it's going to be a good teaser, but I don't think the stream is going to be as good as seeing it in person just because there's so much going on.
100%.
So what you're saying is it's kind of like a play. I mean, you need to be there live to see the whole thing, right? Is that what you're telling me? Like you can't. Like,
I mean,
okay.
you know,
and as opposed to seeing somebody's, as opposed to seeing somebody's mom recording of it, right? Okay, cool, got it. So there's a lot of food, like, I guess I'm going to call these really more treats that have been announced, because the food, I'm sure in the next week we'll see a lot more about the opening day, what the food is going to be, how many millions of different cupcakes there are going to be, what kind of other random iridescent colored treats that there's going to be. All of it very Instagrammable, I'm sure. Most of it probably edible. But there's a couple things that they've announced that I thought were pretty cool. And this is like food adjacent, but the buckets. Oh, man,
yes.
am I a sucker for a popcorn bucket. And I have a little bit of a problem in the fact that there's one that's there now or has been there that's a little retro that I didn't get because I thought it was the 50th. So it's exciting to see this one. This one that may not be it, but this one looks very cool. I'm not sure that the iridescent translates to paint like this, but at the same time, it's like all the little icons that are on it are very cool. Also, there is this candy. So this is a little bit less exciting to me because you eat it and it's gone. But again, you take lots of pictures, and then that's good. But there is this 50th anniversary menu for the California Grill. As excited, I don't feel like you had the same excitement for the popcorn bucket, Emma, as you did for the food. So that makes me think you're a little bit more high maintenance than I am. So tell me what you're excited about this meal.
I mean, I just love California Grill, period. So the fact that they're having a limited time menu just got me really excited for that. So I'm hoping, because there's definitely no way with our trip being in less than 2 weeks that we're going to get a reservation for it. But I'm hoping to pop into the lounge maybe and experience some of that. But I am excited for the popcorn bucket. That is the first thing that I will be purchasing on property on the 4th for sure, so I can use it the whole time. But I love both of those things. I'm very excited.
I'm going to be really more one of those people, though. I'm hoping that there's a more special version, because usually, like for Halloween, there's the bucket that's shaped like this, that's the refill and all that, and there's the bucket that you don't really want to put popcorn in. That one. That's the one I want. Sometimes it looks like this, Sometimes it looks like that. So I'm,
Rob with the flex.
Yeah,
love it
when necessary. I mean, but all I'm saying is I hope that there is something else, and there probably will be. There probably over 18 months there may be a lot more. I have no place to put it, but just like the coins, I feel like I have to have all of it. Coach, you're not a popcorn bucket guy.
I am a popcorn bucket guy. My issue with popcorn buckets is you can display them, but there's a lack of functionality for the most part. I feel like this 50th popcorn bucket, you could actually, dare I say, put something in it other than popcorn. You could use it for just like a pen on a desk or something like that, like in an office. There's a lot of things I think you can use it for where you can actually like sort of display it in a functional manner. It's awesome. That popcorn bucket's got all kinds of just little shout outs to different parks and different attractions. It's incredible. It was funny. I think it was Tom that joked that it's almost like it's from another country, because he loves that park better. So, but I think that popcorn bucket it's simple, but it's really cool. So I like that there's not some random thing sticking out of it and all this other stuff. It just is what it is, which I like. So.
Rob, Coach is under the impression that you need a popcorn bucket to be functional. Thoughts?
There are many things in life that need to be functional, and popcorn buckets, outside of holding popcorn, don't need to be functional.
I mean, I guess that works.
Agree to disagree, Rob Bazemore. Agree to disagree.
maybe you can put some flowers in. It could be a nice vase.
You know what?
We're finding functionality already.
I'm picturing you going in the garage and like just dumping all your nuts and bolts into this thing, and it just hurts my heart. It just does.
Rob. That's blasphemy.
Yeah, don't do it. Just don't do it. So moving on to Decor. So I guess this is a little bit on the kind of the heels of what we were talking about with the finishing touches, but I feel like it's a little bit of a separate thing. Obviously, they've been putting paint on things. They're adding little scenes to things. Everything's coming together, but man, like we've talked about all the stuff on Main Street, the Cinderella pumpkin wreaths, the, the light poles being painted gold, all of the stuff that they've done, the statues they've put out there. But, this week we saw even more, like the World of Disney with these huge banners. All I can think of when I see these is when they're done with them, dibs. I mean, like that
Yes.
that looks fantastic, the way they've got all that stuff up there. I'm excited about that. These mats that they have at the Grand Floridian, I'm a little bit confused about that because I love taking a picture when I'm walking into a Disney resort of the mat that I'm going into. I do see the Grand Floridian one on the other side. That's okay. They're very pretty, but you're throwing me for a loop when you do that. Then you've got this construction fence that this is not this is not unheard of with Disney. I mean, when they put up construction walls and they put all those Walt quotes on them, that's kind of the same thing. But the fact they're like, hey, we're not going to be done with this anytime soon. Let's just magic it up, a little iridescent to it. These banners on Main Street with the gem on them, I think are great. I feel like people are going to try to grab that off of there, but probably they've thought ahead of that. If they're not fastened the same way the ones were onto the castle, we'll be fine. This one is from the little vault collection shop that popped up over at Springs, and the cool thing about this is it's going to be this vault collection at the co-op, and it looks really neat. But these banners are very reminiscent of Mr. Toad and the banners that were hanging in Toad Hall. So I think that's cool. But it's also interesting to me that there's so many shout outs to Toad. They clearly know they're getting into the nostalgia, which is what we we drag them for not getting into nostalgia. So they're getting into that, and that's cool. And there's going to be like a Toad meet and greet in the vault shop. All that stuff. I mean, not meet and greet, but a photo opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so all of that stuff said, can we just bring Toad back?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like maybe that would be a good idea to do. I don't know.
Aren't they doing the statue and where they're having the Vault Connect collection where you can actually take a picture next to the statue?
Yeah, that's the photo op.
Yeah, the photo op. So that's
so that's something.
Yeah, it is something, and they've done like the magic shots where it's like Toad, with the deed. I think they do that at Disneyland. So definitely they understand that Toad is very nostalgic for everything that's been happening, or everything that goes on with the 50th. So that's exciting. I love that it still exists in Disneyland and you can go there and ride it there. So that's kind of cool. Speaking of a photo op, though, this one at the airport, I guess you just have to go to the airport so that you can take this shot. Mm-hmm. That's kind of cool. Also, they've got the place is really decked out for the 50th. So I don't know that I saw this much engagement when Harry Potter stuff was out. So Disney must have put again some serious money into this for the airport. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just trying to get people to come back to the parks. I mean, we saw, I feel like a huge surge in crowds, when everything reopened, and that summer was really busy, and now we're starting to see things dip. I mean, I still stand by what I said on the Twitter machine, that I think we'll see a lot of people around the weekend of the 50th itself, and then, the normal busyness that we see around the holidays. But I think other than that, it's going to be pretty low crowd. So I think Disney's really putting the money into this to get people to come and pay the expensive ticket price and now expensive annual pass price to go to Disney. But that being said, it is nice it's nice that I'm going to fly into the airport and feel that the celebration is already happening, before I'm even on property. So that's a nice perk.
Rob, when you fly in, when you go do your Disney trip, will you promise to send us a picture of you in that big teacup?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, a question for you: do you actually think that that outside of the first couple weeks that's going to be down, the attendance is going to be down in the parks?
Yeah, I think so. I honestly do think that. I mean, that's the thing. We have these new shows, but that's like about it. That's really the only thing other than like the decorations that's gonna drive people to come to the parks. Like, I mean, Remy, sure, but like again, I don't think that's good enough of an attraction to keep people coming throughout all 18 months. It's not gonna be the same as Rise. I'm sorry, it's not.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I mean,
Do
they have Tron. No, they have
No.
the coast.
No.
No.
Right.
I was just trying to.
Ratatouille.
Yeah, Ratatouille. Yeah, that didn't break the first time they used it either, right? No, I think it's like anything else. I think it's one of those things where you're going to get those people that are the little fly-by-nighters that are going to take the pictures and everything else, but they're clearly nervous. Like, they're clearly not just assuming people are going to show up, which they've done in the past. So I think that's important to note. To Emma's point, like, they are not taking anything for granted in terms of trying to get that crowd to come back, because I think when people were walking on Rise when they had virtual queues, people were just like getting Rise when they still had virtual queues at 7:00 at night. They're like, uh-oh. So
Right.
yeah.
And honestly, like, the wait time hasn't been bad. Like, the fact that it's usually under 3 hours, I thought it was going to be like Flight of Passage where it was 6. And the fact that like it's not even 3 most of the time is crazy to me. So
Yeah, but you got to remember, though, that a lot of people have already ridden this attraction. When Flight of Passage was 6 hours, it was brand new, and the standby line was like that. Now you've got a lot of people who've ridden it, plus it's a little bit off season. So I don't disagree. I think that it's nice that it is manageable now, and hopefully it will remain that way. I think it's one of those things that if people don't feel like they have to fight for it, then they won't feel like they have to do it every time they have a Hollywood Studios Park Pass. That's the way I feel about it when we're doing that. We'll talk a little bit more about the standby line later, but I want to get back to the 50th stuff because, you were talking about when to come. I'm going to be there for the first because I've wanted to be there for the first for a long time. Before I knew anything that was going to be happening, I wanted to be standing in the Magic Kingdom on October 1st on the 50th anniversary. And so to me, that means something to be there, even if there's no Remy's Ratatouille, even if there's no, Enchantment or Harmonious. So, for me, being there right around the beginning of this celebration is a big deal. And I think that maybe, with the TV special and all the news coverage and everything else that they've got, people will get that FOMO going and they'll go, hey, I really want to be there. I do think that Delta has had a big impact on a lot of people's travel plans. But I do think that there's something special about being there for the 50th, especially for the people who have had as much of the Kool-Aid as we have. I think that, people just want to be there. So just a thought.
Obviously, I'm a very
Go ahead.
Obviously, I'm a very small sample size, but I have several friends, 5 or 6 of them at least, who were planning on going to Disney and have potentially held back because they wanted to see what was happening on the 50th. So, do I think it's going to be gigantic? No, but there is definitely a group of people who are rescheduling their trips from early in the year just to be there during some point in this 50th anniversary.
Yeah, that's a good point. So one last thing to talk about on the 50th, which I'm excited about this, and maybe that's just because I'm a dork, but the 50th anniversary scavenger hunt. I loved doing the hidden Mickey scavenger hunts. I would go to do this just for this piece of paper. This is, it's reminiscent of the old ticket books. You can get this at the at least at the resorts around the Magic Kingdom, the ones that were there from the beginning. It's got these clues with these little check boxes that I wouldn't dare write in so that I could continue to have this and hold for, forever. And there's this very hard to unscramble clue at the bottom that says the world most magic. Yeah, I can't figure it out. So you have to get these clues going so that you could get that. But I always enjoyed doing the scavenger hunt thing, whether it's the, the hide and squeak or, the things you have to pay for at Epcot. There's one for every season, or whether it's like the one that they did at Downtown Disney for Halloween in Disneyland, or the one they did in Disney Springs last year for the Christmas tree trail. All of these things are always exciting to me. Am I the only one, Coach? Do your kids get excited about this kind of stuff? Do you get excited about this kind of stuff?
I think this is an opportunity where you get. It's almost like they used to do the Pirates thing, where you could do the Explorers. I forget what the thing was called over before they shut it down over near Splash Mountain. That little Trader's Outpost thing. It is exciting because I think it's something that it allows you to do something else. If you've been to the park a bunch and you've ridden a lot of the rides, it allows you that opportunity to do something different, right? And to your point, I think it really is about doing different things, having different experiences, not just going and riding the same 7 rides that you run. Yeah, 7. So I think it's one of those things where I think it's cool. I think it's, if you have people in your party, this is the kind of thing you frame. I think you frame it and put it on a wall. You get one on each side and you frame it up. I mean, I think it's if you're a dork, Rob, I am right there with you, man.
No, kids, don't touch it with your grubby little hands. Dad will hold on to this because he's going to frame this later. I mean, that's the thing too,
Exactly.
right? This is why.
No happiness. This is going in a frame. Yes.
Exactly.
Or just get multiple copies. That works too.
Yep, you get one to keep, one to use, and one just in case. That's the way that works. Mr. Bazemore.
No.
Alrighty, and
What?
Emma.
Wrong.
What?
Wrong. Dakota
Oh my
News,
god!
wrong.
I don't know. I love scavenger hunts. I think you're
I
fun.
unfortunately, I
you
don't have the
know.
attention span to do it.
I mean, call me basic, but I do love a good scavenger hunt. I really thought the ticket book look was a nice touch. I'll definitely be spending some time doing that, even if I can already figure out what the answer is. It's still fun anyway. I'm here for it.
Yeah, Emma, I don't know how you knew we called you basic. These are actually.
I'm not offended. I know it's true.
but I mean, it's just, these are a lot of fun, and again, it's one of those things that it doesn't really cost them a lot. It adds to your experience. It gives you something to do, and sometimes these can be the moments that that little kids especially will enjoy the most. But for me, I look at it and go, I want one. And kind of like you, Coach, I'm like, let me maybe not frame it, but let me just put it very, carefully in another stack of all this other Disney paper that I keep. But it's neat when they do stuff like this. So I'm excited about this as an additional, an add-on to what's going on. There's so many things happening. There's a lot to take in. Please make sure that you go to WDWNT.com. All the latest news will be there. You can filter through by the 50th anniversary. There's just going to be so much going on. I mean, even with all the prep that we've done, I'm sure my head will still be spinning on the first of, is there a button? Where do I get a button? Will there be a button? Can I get a guide map? How many guide maps can I have? Can I have more than one? I mean, it's just going to be like, I'm going to want it all. So, but it's exciting. This is 50 years of Walt Disney World. So we will talk about this more and what Walt Disney World means to us at the back half of the show. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back with kind of a lightning lane of news because we have so many topics. We were going to cover them quickly, and the panel will have to respond just as quickly. So stay tuned. Do not go away.
WDWNT presents Timekeeping, a year-by-year journey through the history of the vacation.
Folks, welcome back to ParksCenter. If you have not already, please give us a thumbs up. It helps people to find the show, and it really helps our egos. Also, if you have not, please subscribe to the channel. And again, we're going to go back to these folks, and we're going to have a little bit of almost like a game with this. We're going to do Lightning Lane. We're going to take back the words lightning lane because they have a very bad connotation for us right now. And we're going to talk about the news in a very lightning-like fashion. I'm gonna call on one of you guys to see how up you are on these topics, just so we can fly through these pretty quickly. But there was a lot of stuff that happened this week that we definitely want to cover. The first one is that the All-Star Resort. So we've got the All-Star Music opened up, and so I believe All-Star Sports is the last resort on property at this point that is not open. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And the resort has been delayed indefinitely. I don't know if this is a deflate gate sort of a situation, but there is not. I mean, it's not open. But Emma, since you seem to be ready to go, we're going to call on you for this one. What are your thoughts? What's happening over at All Star Sports?
I mean, honestly, I think it's because of the dip in attendance. I mean, Tom said it earlier on, I don't know how many episodes of news today it was ago, but yeah, I think they decided to delay it. And I mean, I guess it's good that they're going to take the time to do a refurbishment, but yeah, it seems like they're not going to reopen it until they really need to, which, I mean, prediction from me might be next summer, maybe, but honestly, I don't think they're going to do that until international travel is good to go.
Yeah. Coach, extra innings because there's 20 seconds left. Sports has got to be your favorite, right? And he is frozen. So we are going. He is shocked. So.
Yeah. I mean, but I hope it reopens though, because honestly, hotels are expensive and the value ones are the cheapest ones. So.
Cool. All right. Well, the next one we're going to talk about is World of Color. And the World of Color is, we're just going to stare at Emma for a little while, but World of Color.
I love World of Color so much.
Yeah, so World of Color, they brought the fountains up. The fountains are up. So we're feeling like this is going to be a refurbishment, and maybe World of Color will finally be back. We know we already have fireworks out there. World of Color could be returning. Rob, you're a little bit of a West Coast guy. Have you seen World of Color? What do you think about all this?
I have. It's one of my favorite shows. I'm really, it'd be great when it comes back. I look forward to seeing it again.
You say more.
The music is, it kind of just moves you emotionally. That with the great imagery of the past, all the great IPs, it's an amazing show.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess, I mean, you're done. So basically, when these risers come up, if you've never seen it happen, and it happened a lot when they were having some technical difficulties, to me, it was one of those things where I was just like, it's just so not pretty. And so then when they lower it down and we see the World of Color, it's very similar to the whole barge thing at Epcot, because with the barges, at least, those things have been hidden. And now they're here. These things can go down though. But I'm excited to see this come back. I feel like this is something that should have come back already. I don't feel like there's any concerns anymore about gatherings. We seem to be clear of that, and we'll talk about that in a second when we start talking about like the early entry and what that's been like, and Space 220. Gatherings don't seem to be a problem for anybody anymore. So the fact that they haven't already done this as some other sort of entertainment nighttime people eater is surprising to me. So there you have it. So Coach seems to have returned.
Yay!
Sorry.
So we're gonna go ahead and throw this next one to you, Coach. The Main Street Confectionary. Is, because you mentioned this a little bit earlier, is finally coming back. It's reopening on September 29th at the Magic Kingdom. By the data that I have here, originally scheduled to open on October 2nd. And then we have found out that it's going to be sponsored by M&M Mars, and I don't have a huge problem with that because it's kind of hidden a little bit here. But something that was mentioned is that they've etched on the windows things about Twix, which was something that didn't exist at the turn of the century. So that seems a little bit weird. But in general, are you excited about the confectionery finally coming back here, Coach?
I'm excited about this. I think this is something that most people will visit. Most people will make a part of their trip. There's a lot of memories that go in it. Back in the day when you had the meal plan and you had to use those snacks at the last minute, you would go and load up 9,000 bags if you had to convert meals and stuff like that. I like the fact that it's actually corporate sponsored. Tom made the joke that Walt Disney's a corporation, so we can't really get too mad about it. I like it. I think it expands there's clearly a marketing thing going on there. There was a deal that was made, money was made, which I think overall is probably a good thing. And not for nothing, they got a pretty good selection of different types of candy. When you get the general candy bar, it's generally not as good as a name brand one. So I'm all for this. I think this is great. I think it's understated in a lot of ways, and why not?
Well, and they dug in deep into that iridescent fund and got some iridescent M&Ms coming, which I'm not sure those count as iridescent. To me, they look
No,
pink.
they're pink.
Maybe even just a pale pink. But still, again, you know, at least with candy stuff, I'm at least okay not buying those things because I know that they're consumables, and if I put them in a box with all the rest of my collectibles, it's going to ruin them. So I'm okay letting that go. So I'll let you guys buy all the M&Ms you want, and then I'll just spend my money on very expensive coins I can't afford. So the next thing we want to talk about is the Primeval Whirl. Finally, this thing is coming down. They shut down, I mean, in July of 2020, it was announced that this was going away. It never came up after COVID. Finally, this thing, which I didn't hate this attraction when it was open, but this huge eyesore of an attraction has been sitting there for so long, just like saying to everybody, hey, this is closed, and you can't ride it, and we're just going to let it rot here for a while. I mean, it's a little scary. So Emma, I'll throw this one back to you. Finally happening, excited, what's going to go here? Tell us everything.
I'm like, thank God, bye. I mean, it was fun, sure, it was cute, but like, it's also very dangerous. And I'm like, peace, see ya. You know, anyway. I just really hope that they put something in there in its place, which is what I'm worried about, and I don't think they're going to. So I'm a little concerned. That's an understatement. Very concerned about Dinoland, with this thing going away. I mean, you have like that spinner ride, and that's about it. And the carnival game, sure, but yeah, unfortunately there's already not a lot to do in that part of Animal Kingdom, and then without Primeval Whirl, it's gonna be gone. But at least it will be gone, and not something that was like, oh, this was open for a time, but now it's not anymore. So at least it'll be out of the way.
Not a lot to do. You've never been to the Boneyard? Weird. So over here, you've got this track now going to nowhere, which looks to me, if I was somebody walking by, like, hey, that looks like a fun ride. Let's do that one. I wonder what happens when you get to the end of that track. I don't know. It's just for me, again, I didn't love this attraction. You know, the spinning part of it. I between this one and what was Mulholland Madness and now Goofy Sky School, I prefer that one. Like, that to me is a better version of this. But I love anything that's an addition. So I'm hoping that if they take this away, and I think it was basically a maintenance issue, if they take this away and they just need to put something else in here, because this whole area needs something. I think we all have felt like that the kitsch idea of Dinoland is a little bit lost. I mean, they kind of fixed it a little bit by putting in the plush that was, from the land. That was kind of cool for the games. But even carnival games seems like not a Disney thing, because you're throwing money away at it. It's a win or lose thing. There are winners and losers. It feels not Disney to do carnival games. So I would love to see them take this whole area and do something else with it, but maybe keep the backstory, because the backstory is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's definitely something that I would like to see them do more of. Any other thoughts on this one before we move on?
I wish we could have found some way to be offended by this, so we could have had it reimagined into another attraction. Because it seems like that's kind of the only way that they're updating and sort of attractions. And I don't say that lightly. I think they need to do that with other attractions, but it seems like that's the only way that attractions are getting quote-unquote improved or taken care of. So I like Emma. I hope something goes there that's worthy of the history of that. There could be little tie-ins and things like that. So I don't know. I don't know if they know. It seems like they're just kind of sort of flying by the seat of their pants going, okay, well, we got to take this down now. This looks bad. We've painted everything else everywhere iridescent, so we should probably take this gigantic old metal structure down before it starts to rust and fall apart. So
yeah,
just a thought.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about early entry, because if you are a special person staying on property, you get to have early entry into the parks. So that's a fun thing, especially for us who are all out of towners here. So that's a good thing. There was some. Our folks were there this morning to take on what it looked like coming into Hollywood Studios for the early admission. This still looks like a mess. I mean, at least you're getting in early, but weren't you saying that their lines were low, Emma? Is that this?
Yeah.
This looks like a problem.
Later in the day.
Oh,
later in the day, yeah.
Later in the day. Gotcha. One of the things that strikes me about early entry, and the same thing is true of like when it was extra magic hours and you would go, okay, Magic Kingdom is for hotel guests today is where they're going to have early or extra magic hours. I would always avoid that park because so many people would look at their schedule if they were people who were trying to maximize their trip, people who hadn't gone too much and looked at that as a huge perk and said, hey, let's start our day there. And I'm thinking, okay, y'all start over there, I'll be at Epcot. And then, so I think we've learned to avoid that, but this is going to be at every park. I think this is actually a good thing. It's and I'm going to give this one to you, Rob. I think it's good to have a head start on being able to do things like Rise now that it's standby. And now that Fast Pass is no longer a thing and we're going to get Genie Plus again, I feel like this is a little bit of a leg up.
Yeah, I agree. And it's going back to the complaints of removing all the benefits of staying in the park. I know this isn't the magical hours that we're used to, but it definitely gives a leg up to those people who are paying the extra money to stay in the parks, especially when it comes to Rise of the Resistance. I can imagine, if you go there early, you probably have a pretty good shot at actually riding Rise, within the first couple hours or the first hour of your park visit. So I'm excited. Again, just gives one perk to staying in the park.
One more perk. Wait a minute, just one perk. Okay. All right. We can get into that some other time. So let's move on to the next one. And Space 220 opened. We talked about it last week. We had seen a preview of it. We had seen footage inside. We have all that information on our website. But on Monday, it opened up and it was standby only. And oh my gosh, the sea of humanity that was standing outside. Did they expect this? This is kind of crazy. Obviously they didn't know this was going to happen, Coach. Where are you in this group? Shouldn't you have been there?
I probably should have, but I think it's one of those things that it's like anything else. I think this is it's pent-up demand, mainly because Space 220 was supposed to happen in either 2019 or 2020 and not 2021. So there's been a lot of pent-up demand about it. I think advanced reservations or any reservations are very few and far between at this point. I think it's one of those things that's going to probably wean out as time goes on. But it may be one of those experiences where you go and do it one time and don't do it again. Or, depending on the food, and you can read the review at wwnt.com, where we had basically everything. I think it's one of those things where it really, it's an experience. And that, to me, if you're going to overpay for food at a theme park, it should be an experience and not, Woody's Lunchbox where you're eating something that probably you don't want to eat with no shade. So I think it's one of those things where it's definitely really cool and it's cool. I mean, I think it's pretty neat. And if you've seen the reviews and watched the video, like it's well done. You knew they were meaning business because they showed their preview video and they had a hard hat on, so they were working on it. So it always makes me laugh. The attraction's over. Why are you wearing a hard hat? You work construction. You wear that when the construction site's like not finished yet. So, but anyway.
It definitely, I think, paid off. Like, I think that was one of the things that I kept joking. Everybody wanted to eat there, but nobody knew what the food was like at first. But the whole thing looks like it does pay off. I hope that they continue at this level because everyone who went seemed to love all the food. And again, like you said, the reviews are on the website. I found this to be funny, though, too, is that, the clouds that they've imagineered in here to cover up as you're going up the escalator. or up the elevator, or the Stellarvator, sorry, to above Epcot, they're like, oh, well, let's mask the fact that it's a war zone at Epcot. Like, you don't want to see Epcot from above right now. So, the good news is that it can always stay like this, right? Because even after they fix everything, which hopefully will be before Epcot's birthday next year, then they're going to have, the clouds can stay, or they remove them and it looks pretty. I don't know. But it was well thought out that they, maybe, I assume that somebody looked at it and went, wait a minute, hey, John, you're going to want to check this out. This looks super bad. We need to do something. We need to get the cloud guy in here. Yeah, we can fix this up right away. So, yeah.
Hey, Rob, you have a reservation on your trip to eat there?
I'm having a lot of reservations about the fact that I can't get a reservation.
Okay.
There's that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to get in for a while. I mean, I've done everything that I could think of to do to try to get in, working the app and all that, and it's going to be tough to get in because I don't think anybody's going to drop this one. I think what normally happens with food and reservations is people get them 60 days out, then they go, okay, I'm gonna, like 60 days from now on a Tuesday at 7 o'clock, I'm definitely going to want spaghetti. And then they go, I'm not really sure I'm feeling that for tomorrow, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it, and then we swoop in and get it. It all works out great. But I don't know that anybody's going to take this one off of their reservations, and I'm sure they're probably trying to make sure that they keep the numbers at a manageable level. So I'm going to keep trying. I can't wait to go. Everything looks great. I actually was looking forward to seeing the inside of it, and not really like in a hurry to do it until the food reviews came out, and it sounded like they were really excited about the food reviews. So the other thing that we heard was that the Rise of the Resistance was going to be standby, and that officially happened, and we talked a little bit about that. Again, this is not as crazy as I thought, but this is what I look at and go, why couldn't you have been doing World of Color all along if you don't mind this sea of humanity being all this close together for so long? So, I feel like this is an interesting test. I'm not sure why they're doing it, because they just told us that this is going to be one of the premium lightning lane things they're going to be doing. So I'm not really sure why they decided to do this one by standby, but I'm glad they did, and it looks like it's paying off. And if things hold the way they are now, and people maybe aren't as like frenzied to go because it's their only chance to go, I think maybe this may correct itself. Am I wrong, Emma?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it gives everyone a fair shot, like a truly fair shot at riding the ride by having a standby queue. And it makes me so happy, because let me tell you, the last couple times that I was at the parks, I did not care if I got a boarding group. Why? Because it was such a pain to get up that early in the morning and just pray that your Wi-Fi or your data was working, that you would get a boarding group fast enough. So honestly, even if it's a long wait, I think this is the best way of doing it, and I'm glad that they're at least testing it, and honestly, like, I was surprised to see them roll it out so soon before they rolled out Genie Plus and Lightning Lane, but honestly, I think it was just to see, okay, how much of a long line are we going to have? What's the demand going to be like in an off season, so they can maybe predict what it's going to be like in summer or around the holidays. So I think that was kind of smart to do that now and do it ahead of time before that big rollout happens. And I mean, because there's going to be problems with that. We all know Disney IT. But yeah, I'm happy to see that boarding groups are going away.
Nice.
More of this, please.
I don't think they're going away forever, though. I think this is a thing that'll be in place. But the thing is that Star Wars Land was supposed to have boarding groups when it first started, and Disneyland did a little bit of that, and they never really had to do that on the East Coast, I don't think. So it's exciting to think that maybe that would happen, but I don't know. It is a positive thing, and I'm very excited about that. Heads or tails, Coach?
Tails?
Tails.
Asking me?
Tails.
Tails never fails, Rob.
Okay, great. You get to talk about Coco. We're throwing Contemporary to Rob. So with the Contemporary, we saw that this long-awaited upgrade, we'll call it, to the Incredibles. I love the Incredibles, so I'm excited about this. I don't think it's necessary, but we're starting to see that the artwork was laid out, so that we're really close to opening this thing up. So we get to see this artwork sitting around, kind of. So we know it's happening. It's close to being done. I don't know if it's supposed to be done for the first or not, but we did find out today that the lobby has opened. So the lobby for the Contemporary has officially been reopened. There's a lot of Mary Blair calls here, including the five-legged goat down here. It looks pretty amazing to me looking through this. We have a total, full walkthrough. I think that the Contemporary does get updated on a regular basis, and I feel like it always, each time, I think it looks pretty sharp. But Rob, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I really like it a lot. I wish they had gone with this kind of theming, the lobby theming throughout the rooms. I think that the Incredibles really kind of brings down the high-end level of the Contemporary, making it, IP driven. I would have loved to have seen the same kind of theming throughout the full resort, or at least, maybe you have similar to the pirate rooms, maybe you have Incredibles rooms, and you have more traditional IP or more traditional theming throughout the rooms. But the lobby looked great, and again, just wish it carried over to the rest of the resort.
Yeah, and then here's the Steakhouse 71. So we got to look down the same passageway that was set up for Wave, but now it says Steakhouse 71 on it. So I don't disagree with you on this one, even though I do like the Incredibles. I don't know why it was necessary to put an IP in here or in the Polynesian. Neither one seemed to need it. These are OG deluxe resorts that don't need any other additional thing to draw people in, because even for little kids, there is still something cool about the monorail going through my hotel that I don't need there to also be, pictures of Dash in the room. Same thing with Polynesian. There's so much already going on there that I don't think it needed the Moana upgrade. So not that they're not good, not that they don't look good, because I do think that they do look good. I just don't think it was necessary. I agree with you. It doesn't look necessary for these, because I think they were already pretty amazing resorts on their own without the IP. So we'll see. Have they been hurting to fill rooms at the Contemporary that they needed to do this? I don't know. I think just a redo was probably enough. So, Coach, the last thing we're going to talk about here is Coco, because, again, I know that's your favorite Disney movie, Disney Pixar movie. So Coco, the new scene we thought was going to be coming October 1st. I did anyway. I was under the impression that was happening. Apparently they need to upgrade the digital upgrade to digital at PhilharMagic, and that's going to take a month to do. So I'm assuming they wanted this open for the 1st, so they're not going to shut it down until the 11th, and then on November 12th we're going to get that Coco scene added. So they've already added this one to stop shaking your head, Cooley. They've already added this one to the one in California, but in California, if you guys have seen it there, it's not the wide screen that we get in Florida. So I'm a little disappointed it's not coming for the 1st, Coach.
I am too. This is a great ride. This is a very underrated. Mickey's PhilharMagic is a very underrated ride. As you see over my shoulder, I'm a huge Donald guy. Got my Donald Magic Band on. I think Donald Duck is a massively underutilized character that they have in the park. It's a missed opportunity. There's a lot of people that love Donald. This is a great excuse to redo the ride. Coco is a great movie. It's cute. There's a lot of really good things in it. I think it gives you an opportunity to update the ride, but it also gives you an opportunity to update the ride in the future. Right? Having this new technology will allow you to add scenes in a much easier, and the way Chapek likes it, financially easier, less money to update the things that they want to do in terms of HD, and it's going to be a better experience. So I think all in all, it's a win for everybody involved. They should have had it done October 1st, to Emma's point before. There's absolutely no reason why all this stuff shouldn't have been done when the parks were shut down. Just bad leadership. Times of crisis highlight bad leadership, and there you go. I mean, it's as simple as that. So, that's right, Chapek. Start sweating. So,
and Coach takes a shot at Chapek completely unprovoked. All right, so we're going to come back. We're going to come back from this, and we're going to talk about good things. We're talking about the 50th anniversary. We're going to look back at some of our favorite things. I'm going to ask the panel about some of their favorite memories, some of their favorite places to go, things that we're looking forward to reminiscing about during the most magical celebration. So don't go away. We will be right back.
Welcome to Deep in the Plus. Each week, join host Rob Whiteside and a panel of Disney superfans as they take a different movie or TV show from the Disney Plus catalog, tell you its history, details, give their review, and let you know if it's worth your time. Current shows, classic movies, and everything in between. Watch Deep in the Plus live Tuesday nights at 9 Eastern for new episodes. Or catch Deep in the Plus anytime on YouTube at unplannedDowntime.com.
Once again, thanks for being with us on ParksCenter and letting us spend our Sunday night with you. Again, if you're watching now, please give us a thumbs up. It helps people to find the show. And you just saw a commercial for the Golden Jamboree. This is an event that WDWNT is putting on this coming weekend. So it is mere days away. And you can be there virtually with a ticket for only $20 to be able to watch the whole thing from your home, or you can watch it for the next 30 days after. So it's only $20 a ticket. All of the money goes to support the cast of people who are putting it, who are going to be there entertaining you on this thing. And the speakers, Bob Allen, Don Dorsey. We heard Don Dorsey speak when we did our Reflections event. That was amazing. Lee Cockrell. And then also a reunion of the Adventurers Club and the Comedy Warehouse. So again, goldenjamboree.com if you want to get more information. And it is in 5 days, 11 hours, 42 minutes, and 56, 55, 54 seconds. So that's happening. So in expectation of the 50th anniversary, by the way, this is going on next weekend, October 1st to the 3rd, and because of that, we will not have a ParksCenter next Sunday night. So hopefully you will join us the week after, where we get to talk about everything that happened during the 50th, all of the announcements, all of the fanfare, the hoopla, the swag, anything that we did while we were there. We're definitely going to be talking about on ParksCenter the following week. So make sure to join us then. But next week, not ParksCenter, but Golden Jamboree.
Don't forget shenanigans, Rob. Don't forget shenanigans.
Oh, there's always shenanigans, dude. There are always going to be shenanigans. So, with the 50th coming up, I thought it would be a good time for us to kind of reminisce a little bit about the things that we have enjoyed over the years about Walt Disney World. I mean, again, it's been 50 years, and I think all of us have been, for most of our lives, involved in some way, shape, or form. Maybe Rob and I a little more than the other two, but just only because of opportunity. So I was gonna talk about the top 50 things that aren't there anymore, only because I wanted to celebrate that, but then at the same time, that seems like a little bit of a downer for a celebration, so we'll maybe hold that off for another day, because there have been a lot of things that have come and gone over the years. But the first thing I want to do is something simple. I mean, Walt Disney World has 4 theme parks. I want to ask each of you, which is your favorite theme park and why? Because again, in California, they used to have only one, then they added the second one. This is the only resort in the world that has 4 theme parks in one place. So let me start with you, Coach. What is your favorite theme park and why? For anybody who's like, you got to tell them why it's the best. Convince us.
I'm a Magic Kingdom guy. I know that's kind of the quote-unquote popular answer, but for me, my life was always about wanting to go to Disney World. And I have an older brother who got to go with grandparents, and I never got the opportunity to go. He's 5 years older than me. So it was always something he held over my head, and he got to ride Space Mountain and do all this stuff, and we never had a chance to go. And it was one of those things I didn't get to go till I was older and got to go with my wife, and she's a Disney expert, so it allowed me to sort of get to get all the highlights and everything else. But there is nothing else like walking down Main Street and seeing that castle. And my 4-year-old daughter thinks it's her castle. She says, "That's my castle, Daddy." And when she turns that corner, the look on her face and the energy, there's just nothing like it. And it's just one of those things that can't be duplicated. And it's I don't care that there's another Main Street somewhere else. There's only one Main Street in my eyes, and that's in that park, walking down Main Street, USA, and Walt Disney World. So that's my answer.
Awesome. Rob B., tell us why you think Coach is wrong.
Well, I will tell you that my favorite park until recently was Epcot Center, but that's no longer the mission that I enjoyed around looking into the future, and so it is now. I have to agree, sadly, with Coach that it is Magic Kingdom. It is
sadly.
Yeah, sadly, because Epcot Center was it for me. I remember I was a young boy and gosh, maybe the second grade in Mississippi, and my parents drove me there to be there during the opening month of the park, and it was my first vivid memory of Walt Disney World, and it was, I was really into science and the future. And it really was my first kind of emotional connection to the park. And that's all been ripped out. For me, especially growing up, the country is a World Showcase. I had no connection with and spent almost no time in. It was all about the future. And, Walt's, vision of what the future would be like. So that's no longer there. So it is now Magic Kingdom. And it is, again, back to the nostalgia of being in the parks, being on Main Street, thinking back to the old days when you spoke to your neighbor and children could run around and were safe and people were nice to each other. And that's kind of the I think Walt's vision of what the parks were, kids and parents enjoying the parks together. And that is what Magic Kingdom is now. So I would agree with you in the current state, Magic Kingdom is the best park.
All those things you just described about, like, being friendly and all that stuff happens on Twitter, right? So the other thing, though, is I'm loving that you keep calling it Epcot Center. Also, I think it's unique because I feel like most children would be dragged to Epcot as a kid. Yeah. So I think it's interesting that was your favorite. But grown-up me agrees with you that Epcot was amazing. But I think at the time, I'm sure my dad drug us there. That's just what I'm putting out. Emma, what's the right answer?
I mean, for me, honestly, I'm a Hollywood Studios kind of gal. Or
no, I said,
MGM.
what's the right answer? I
mean, the right answer is Epcot. Let's be real. But yeah, I feel like as a kid, that was the first place where I really fell in love with thrill rides. To be honest, I remember that Rock and Roller Coaster was one of the first upside down roller coasters that I went on, and I was kind of scared because I knew it was in the dark, but when I went on it, I had so much fun, and I've loved thrill rides ever since. And same with Tower of Terror. Again, super creeped out and super scared, but once I got on it, I got over my fear, and it was super fun. And honestly, the live entertainment that they had with the Citizens of Hollywood and Fantasmic and Beauty and the Beast live on stage, all of that, of course, I feel like that kind of moved me towards what I'm pursuing now as a live entertainer myself. But I just really thought that park was special, and, just the feeling of golden age Hollywood, that's a time that I feel like I would have loved to have gone back to and lived in myself, which I know, kind of weird, but wow, yeah, I just love that park so much.
I think for me it's changed over the years, but I'm watching chat and Desi is saying the Disney Animal Kingdom is the right answer. But Jeanette says my favorite park is Epcot. I think that at one point in time I think I've liked all of them for a different reason, which is kind of the cool thing about Walt Disney World, is that you can have those different times in your life and different adventures, and things mean more to you. And I think when you have kids, it comes back around to Magic Kingdom. When my kids were growing up, Magic Kingdom was like, we always had to go there first because it felt like that was necessary. That's the first park you go to. You don't go to Hollywood Studios or anything else because it's the linchpin. If you think about it, why would all those other 3 parks exist there if not for the Magic Kingdom? And so to me, that's always where we would start and then go off from there. Now, gotta make sure you can get a park pass. But I mean, if you can get in, then I think, I feel like, especially for people who haven't been before, Magic Kingdom's the place where you start. And so at different points in my life, that's been the case. I think for me in college, I'm agreeing with you, Emma, that it was really all about Hollywood Studios, because that one to me was, I wanted to be a part of all of that and see the behind the scenes, and I love the, the making of stuff, and that's kind of gone away now. So it's a different place and a different park now than it used to be. Disney Animal Kingdom, when it first opened up, I was like, I'm not really sure about this one. It was hot. There wasn't much there, and now I do kind of love how different it is from everything else, and several of the things there to do, and so it's pretty exciting. So let me then go back around. I'm gonna go back the opposite way and then ask you, at Disney World, this has to be exclusively at Disney World, what is your favorite land to be in? Ooh. Or your favorite land overall, the one where this is just like, this is my place, this is where, like, kind of like Coach was saying about his daughter, this is my castle, this is my land, this is the one that means the most to me. I feel like I relate that question more to California for me, but for just for Disney World, because we're really kind of moving more in that direction, right? So Fantasyland Forest expansion and Batu and all those things. But what is your favorite land, Emma?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of a cop-out to say World Showcase, but World Showcase, I mean,
okay.
At least as an adult, I really have enjoyed the festivals and, just walking around, enjoying a snack, enjoying a cocktail, and just, I mean, again, I feel like the barges have changed that, but, hopefully harmonious and how hopefully good it is will make me feel different about that. But yeah, the last couple of trips that my family, since we're all over 21 now, it's just been really nice to spend time together and just walk around and enjoy, going around to the different countries and just taking a slower pace to the vacation, because I feel like Disney can feel really hectic, and that's just a place where you can take your time and slow down.
Interesting. I can't tell. Kevin Lake is in chat, and I can't tell if he's kidding or not when he says Sunset Boulevard. Like, I can't tell, because he's got a very dry wit, so I'm not really sure. But that is it's a land. It counts. So there you go. Rob, how about you?
So I know this is kind of cheesy, but I'm going to say, Galaxy's Edge. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was a wee little Rob, and it was exciting to me the first time I went to Galaxy's Edge, and I'm still excited to ride Rise of the Resistance every chance I get. So it is Galaxy's Edge.
Well, after you've used the term wee little Rob, I'm going to start going by my middle name moving forward. So, Coach?
I got to go Fantasyland because of the kids. It's being there to experience their joy. To me, joy is being a parent and having your young kids go through that and just seeing the joy. Like, my kids just light up when they get to go on their favorite rides. And a lot of people would look at, teacups and go, wow, it's the worst ride ever. But it's my daughter's favorite ride, and she talks about it nonstop. And the best part is there's usually no wait. So, but it's one of those things where they, you can't match that joy. Like, they're just so happy when they're there. And to me, you can't have a bad day when they're there. It's not possible. So
let's talk about context and how you say things, Coach. Your choice, you said Fantasyland because of the kids. Now, if people took that out of context, that would be bad. So let's watch out for that moving forward. Anyway, like I said, a lot of the stuff that they have on, in other places, I would probably pick first. But in the, Walt Disney World proper, Pandora, and Desi said this in chat, I could spend a lot of time in Pandora. And that's what it means to me about like my favorite land, is because it's some place where I can go and just like spend the day, kind of like if I, go and get on Flight of Passage, and then ride Navi, and then get go to get a Night Blossom. That's just my favorite drink, like cold drink to get in the parks. And then the Wind Traders, like something about that shop is really cool. Even when it's like Banshee free, it's still kind of a cool place to hang out. There's something about the smell. I'm very smell oriented too, about things like they bring memories, and so there's something about that that's really cool. I think the vibe of the land is neat, that you walk around and you can discover different things, and it's just beautiful. So I mean, again, it evolves as Disney changes what they're doing. I think Fantasyland Forest is pretty cool too, but I really think that Pandora is the one for me, that they just, again, spared no expense in making that come to life, and I think a lot of that is due to Joe Rohde. So that's again, that everybody has their own place that they love and their happy place. I love the thought process about World Showcase as well. So that's really cool. And then Batu is also a big one for me in Fantasyland because of the kids. So the other thing that I want to ask you then, and it doesn't have to be land specific or park specific to what you guys just said, but this one can be of all time. What is your favorite attraction? Could be a legacy attraction or an extinct attraction. Your favorite attraction of all time. And Rob, I'm going to start with you on this one because you look like you're ready to answer. Stitch. Is it Stitch?
It is Communicore, my friends.
No!
Yes.
Yes. Again, going back to nostalgia, I remember just spending, hours there making my roller coaster on that machine where you made your little physics generated roller coasters, and the spending time interacting with all the technology. It just, I think about it today still very fondly.
Okay. Coach?
I'm a Flight of Passage guy. I think it's such a unique ride system, and it's really, to use your poor context, it's smells oriented, so it allows me to experience things. See, you did it too, Rob. But no, it's just one of those. To me, it's the best. I know everyone loves Rise of Resistance, but that ride's going to work, and it's awesome every time you ride it. And it's just something. There's something about just being on that Banshee and just flying, and feeling the breathing of the animal that you're on top. It's a cool experience. It's something that everybody kind of likes. So I don't know. For me, that's my favorite ride.
Flip Flop and Mouse Ears, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That's a strong pull. That was definitely one, I think, in its time that was really cool. I feel like for some reason they're talking about Mission Space in here, which should not be the right answer to anybody's what is the best attraction ever. Like, that's one that I wish that we could like do the snap but put Horizons back. So and maybe could we put Horizons back but keep the Space 220? I don't know. And Todd is agreeing with Rob about Communicore. It's interesting about Communicore and Interventions is that when I was thinking back about the things that no longer exist there, those were very hands-on experiences. And when our kids were little, we spent a lot of time at the piggy bank adventure and the where's the fire and all those little things that like would keep them busy and entertained, and it was different. It wasn't just wait in line, get on a ride, wait in line, get on a ride. It was something else that they could just be very creative and play around with. And yes, there were corporate sponsors to it, and some of it was not as fun as others, but it was really neat to be able to go in and do those things. I was thinking about a Communicore and Smart One, which was like, again, a very neat thing. So I feel like that was what Play Pavilion was supposed to be. So we'll see if and when that comes to fruition. Hopefully that is the same thing, just IP laden instead of corporate, sponsor driven. So for me, I Splash Mountain, and it's only because when Splash Mountain opened, to me it was about the attraction, and it was something that I had never. It was like the perfect attraction. It was music, and it was thrills, and it was story, and it was animatronics, and just, the whole thing. And, again, context of the smells, all of it was just a very cool, something about Disney water, guys. There's something about it. It's the bromine, but it just is, it's choice. So I really enjoyed that attraction, and when I was a cast member, I would go over after I got off at Epcot. I would go over there and just ride it all, over and over again. So I hope that when they do the overlay for Princess and Frog, that they do it justice, because I think that if they put in animatronics, the music for that movie is already amazing. If they put in animatronics and they do it justice, it could be my new favorite. Because again, I have a very soft spot for that attraction, because it checks all those boxes for me about what is the perfect Disney attraction. So again, I'm all for an upgrade to that one, and we'll see what happens with that one. Let's talk a little bit about hotels. So back in the day when the park opened, when the resort opened, go ahead, Emma. You didn't say yours. I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say.
No, it's okay.
Emma, it's your turn to say your attraction. That's what I meant to say.
It's okay. And I'm surprised that none of you mentioned this ride, but Great Movie Ride, honestly, is one of my favorites. I mean, again, it's really cool to kind of go behind the scenes and see how things were done. But I was shown a lot of those classic movies, especially Singing in the Rain as a kid. That was one of the first movie musicals that I ever saw and fell in love with. So I just, I really loved going on that ride. And again, I think having a ride that had cast members so integrally involved in the storytelling of that ride was really cool and different from a lot of other things on property. So I miss it.
Rob Bazemore, rebuttal. Great Movie Ride.
Oh, God.
A fabulous ride. It is so much better than the Runaway Railroad. I wish they would bring it back.
These are lies, folks. He does not believe that whatsoever. No,
You sit on a throne of lies, Rob.
You do. I agree. Great Movie Ride was pretty amazing, and definitely when I became a cast member there, I wanted that to be my attraction that I got to work in. There was something about it that just seemed very different, and again, it checked all the boxes about what a great Disney attraction was. So, I do miss that one as well, and the original Figment, I miss that one as well. So, those were good times, but a lot of good stuff there. All right, so again, like I mentioned, let's go into played my hand a little bit here, but we're going to go into talk about hotels, because when the resort opened, you had the main three around the Seven Seas Lagoon. So you had the Polynesian, the Contemporary, and the not Grand Floridian. It's just those two. Sorry, and then the third one was the Disney Golf Resort, which then became the Disney Inn, which is now Shades of Green. So that was where you could stay. There were plans for a whole bunch of others around World Showcase Lagoon. I'm not World Showcase Lagoon, Seven Seas Lagoon, that never happened because of one reason or another. But then during the Eisner years, they built a ton of resorts and brought them up to, in the mid-20s. There's a different count depending on if you're counting villas or not villas, but there's about 26 resorts now. So the question is, what do you think is either your favorite or the best? Why don't you give me both? Because your favorite may not be the best. Maybe because of nostalgia. But Emma, because I came to you last time, we'll go with you first on this one.
So my favorite, because of pure nostalgia, is Old Key West. That's where, as a family, that's where our home resort is. And I just have so many fond memories of staying there. And I wish I had this picture on my phone, because I know we might show those later. But there's a funny picture of me looking grumpy, of like my entire family, extended family having a big trip together, staying there and going to see the Hoop-Dee-Doo review and all kinds of fun things. But anyway, yeah, I just have a lot of fond memories staying in Old Key West, and I still love it to this day. And I love that it's isolated and remote. So, it feels like you're in another place, and it's kind of away from the hustle and bustle of the parks. Best resort, I think right now, probably for me would be Beach Club, kind of, I guess, yacht club tied into that because of location. Just because I feel like there's always a festival going on at Epcot, so it's kind of nice that you can just walk to it. And having Skyliner access, and then also being able to walk to studios, which I guess before was a boarding group perk. Like is easy to get to studios if you had one in the morning, but now that we're at early park entry and more of a standby system with that, it kind of gives you an advantage to get there earlier if you want to walk instead of take the bus or the Skyliner. So yeah, those are my two.
So in chat, I'm seeing Madeline says Riverside baby, but in all caps Riverside. Colleen says Polynesian is my dream. Dawn says I got engaged at Riverside. That's awesome. Michael says Wilderness Lodge, and Tony Stank 1138 says beach. Yeah. So there's a lot of them in there. But Rob, what is the right answer?
The correct answer for my personal favorite is the Contemporary. Again, back to nostalgia, staying there early in my life. The California Grill is also probably my favorite restaurant on property. There's very little that's better than sitting there with an amazing meal, seeing the fireworks, or watching them from your room and having a glass of wine with your wife. And then you can't beat being able to walk across the street to Magic Kingdom. So Contemporary Resort, the pool's a little lame, but overall it is my favorite resort. The best resort is Animal Kingdom Lodge because it's such an immersive environment, also has great food, and you have the savannah with the animals. The only reason it's probably not my favorite is a combination of the nostalgia and the proximity to parks. But you could actually take the Animal Kingdom Lodge and put it anywhere in the world, and it would be a very successful resort, where you probably couldn't say that with very many resorts at Disney, because they're great resorts, but there's nothing super unique like there is in Animal Kingdom Lodge. So that is the best resort. That's the only correct answer for the best resort.
But Stormalong Bay, Rob. Stormalong Bay.
I like the idea of what you just said. If you took it if you took it out of the context and like we've done a lot here tonight, and you put it somewhere else, like would it make sense? And I think then in that case the correct answer is All-Star Sports. Coach.
Yeah, no, not going with that one. So I kind of have two of my personal favorites. One being Boardwalk. I know it's kind of old, but it was kind of like the first nice resort we got to stay at, so there's a lot of nostalgia for me on that one. And then Animal Kingdom Lodge. There's a great story there that hopefully Rob will show the pictures of later on that I can explain. But I think the best resort is it's a tie between the Polynesian and the Contemporary. The Poly one, I'm going to say the Polynesian, assuming the monorail's working. It's a great spot. There's a lot going on. You can get Dole Whips on demand, which is tremendous. You can watch the fireworks from a bunch of different spots. It's a great spot for little kids with their pool and that slide. It's a good deal. And multiple modes of transportation. You can walk the TTC. You can take to me that's as great as it is to walk over in the Contemporary to the Magic Kingdom. It's still, to me, the Polynesian is kind of where it's at. So.
All right, Coach. While we're on it, you want to talk about these?
Yeah, so one of our fond memories that we had. So I'll tell a quick story. So we had reserved a room with a Savannah view, with bunk beds, and they did a renovation of Animal Kingdom Lodge and basically screwed up and took the bunk view. Well, they didn't screw up, but they left it on the website as a reservation. So we thought we were getting bunk beds with a Savannah view room, and the problem is that they didn't have the bunk beds anymore. They took them out. So we went to the parks, we checked in, we got in super late, and I walked into the lobby, and the powers that be basically, we walked into the room, and I had no bed because we had 5 of us, and we were going to use the bunk beds for the kids, and it was going to be easier that way. So we needed the actual bed, and it was midnight at night, and I said to the guys, like, we can give you an air mattress. And I said to the front desk, I go, you really want me blowing up an air mattress at 12 o'clock at night and waking up the entire wing of the hotel? I was like, dude, I'm so tired, I'll sleep on the floor. And the guy looked at me like I had 7 heads, and I'm like, no, really, I don't care. I'm going to pass out standing up. So the next morning, the general manager called me directly and said, we want to move you and make this right. We're assuming you don't want the bunk beds with the actual, view of the parking lot. We're going to upgrade you basically to this ridiculous corner view, Savannah view room that's like $2,000 a night, and we're going to give you club status for the entire stay. And that's my picture of my daughter right there, who thought that was her pet giraffe. So it was awesome. So that's part of the reason why Animal Kingdom Lodge for me is my kids just assume we can just get that room. My son's like, we need to go back there. I'm like, yeah, that's probably never going to happen again. So
that is the problem with getting like upgraded, isn't it? That you become spoiled very quickly. I would agree to that. Like I've been to Camden Yards and seen an Orioles game from the cheap seats, and I've seen it from a skybox and never want to go back to the cheap seats. So,
I get that.
Yeah. Once you've seen a show from the front row, seeing them in a stadium is never going to be an option after that. So yeah, that's very cool. I think Polynesian probably for me on both, maybe just because again Polynesian's one that it's one of the original. It's been renovated very well, very often. It's got so many different cool restaurants and the the tiki bar and the pineapple lanai and just all the things that are there. And I used to love the water feature that was in there. That's gone now, but it's a very clean look to the lobby. Moana Mercantile, how would you not love the name of that gift shop? Captain Cook's, I mean, just Ohana, all those things are great. The being on the monorail when it works, as opposed to when that station was shut down for so long. But it really is kind of an escape. And I think, Rob, to your point earlier, if you pick that up and put it somewhere else, I think that would still hold up, especially with like the beach and the volcano pool and all that kind of stuff. So that to me is where the right answer lies. So we're running late, so I want to ask two more questions and we'll be done. So we'll go kind of lightning round in the first one, which is favorite restaurant on grounds. It can be a counter service, it can be a food cart, but favorite, we're going to say restaurant on grounds. It could be a resort, could be Disney Springs, could be the McDonald's, I don't know, but favorite restaurant on grounds. And I'm going to start with, Coach looks very, very perplexed, so I'm going to start with Emma again on this one.
Thank you.
I mean, for me, it's California Grill. I mean, I said it earlier. I love the sushi, love that ravioli. Oh my God, is that amazing? Like, great wine, great cocktails. Love it there. I know it's expensive, but I love it.
Gotcha. Rob?
I'm going to say I'm going to agree. California Grill. Great food, amazing service, and you just can't match that view. Seeing the fireworks from there while you're having an amazing dinner with friends, can't beat it. Okay.
Coach, have you gathered your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go kind of a little bit off the beaten path, and I'm going to say Via Napoli. I'm from New Haven, where the great Patrick Hackett resides as well, and we have some of the best pizza in the world. Some would say the best. Via Napoli is just something where you can get a huge sheet pizza and eat fairly reasonably with a family and have legitimately good pizza. So I think it's a good spot. We like it. It's something that we enjoy. We always do when we go there.
I think you lose credibility when you say the great Patrick Hackett. So, but I will say
I stand behind my statement.
I mean, earlier they were saying that you got Patrick Hackett out of Remember the Titans, which again, you're a baseball guy, so really you should be mad at him about the Sandlot. Anyway, so
I got mentioned in the same breath as Patrick Hackett, and I will accept that.
Okay, that's fine. Clearly he is asleep right now, or else he would be in chat saying things. I would say, and it's been said in the chat a bunch of times here, just reading down though, like Cinderella's Royal Table is iconic. Sanaa has been mentioned here.
True. Bread service.
Yeah, so Colleen says, who's going to say Tony's? None of us.
Nope.
Isn't Patrick a legend, says Chief? It's irrelevant. So to me, and again, it's been said here, is Ohana. And that was not always the case for me, but I think Ohana, when I went, my son and I went and checked it out because my daughter is a vegetarian, and so that's really not a great choice necessarily for her. It's not a bad one, but so we went when it was still the skewers and like the Brazilian steakhouse style, and it was like, is this heaven? is this 7? Because it was just so amazing, and the food kept coming, and it was all delicious, beginning to end. It was great. We went at the opening or the reopening of Ohana. I was there with Tom and Jason when we were doing a review, and it was and that was the night that I got this back scratcher, because that was the back scratcher drink. I was like, I don't really drink, and they're like, it comes with a free back scratcher. I was like, I need one. So it's really good. There are probably other restaurants. I see people. Thomas says Cosmic Rays. I think you missed the question. So Haleo is mentioned here, which I'm sure is great. I just have never been. Citrico's was mentioned. I've never been. But for me, it really is that it's about, like, Ohana has just like the vibe. It has the food is great. The view is amazing. So, I mean, to me, it would be Ohana. Now, I think there was a time I probably would have said Liberty Tree, because Liberty Tree family style meal, that Patriots platter was, I love Thanksgiving dinner. Like, it's fantastic. So, to me, Patriots platter was always the thing. Skipper Canteen's been mentioned. All right. So, thank you for doing that one. 2 more quick. I said 2 before, but this one is. There's one last thing I want to do, but this one is about your memories, your favorite Disney memory, and a lot of us have them that have solidified us into this Disney community. That you have that memory once, and it becomes an addiction that you want to go back and get that memory again and again. Sometimes there's that Disney moment where you weren't expecting something and it happens, and it can be the big takeaway from your trip. That's why when I was talking about the scavenger hunts, sometimes those were those memories of a late night hidden Mickey scavenger hunt with me and my daughter through the Animal Kingdom Lodge, stuff like that. It can be those memories for you. But I want to start with Coach, because again, I know you brought visual aids for this one, what your favorite Disney memory was.
So basically, my father-in-law is a veteran, Navy veteran, and one of the things that we always joke about, like the what ifs when you're in Disney World, like what if we got to stay one night in the castle, and what if you start what ifing things that are never going to happen to you. And I remember telling my wife, I said, "Oh, they do a Veteran of the Day thing. That's really cool. How do they pick that? Wouldn't it be cool if we could get." I call him Dad because he's like second dad to me. What if we could get Dad to do that? Wouldn't that be cool? And my wife was like, "Oh, that'd be the greatest thing ever." And so fortunately, I was able to get my father-in-law selected as the Veteran of the Day. And so if you're not familiar with that ceremony, they lower the flag and they literally march you down. They shut the whole thing down, and he gets his own parade down Main Street. And so it's really a moving experience. It is like a random selection. It's the picture of a family. You get selected as Veteran of the Day. You get a pin that you can only get if you're Veteran of the Day. And he was completely floored by it. He had no idea. And so it was literally a situation where he thought in college coaching, he thinks I know everybody. And he just assumed I knew this cast member, and I'd met her 45 seconds ago, and we had planned, basically, they called us and said, "Would you want to be interested in it?" Because I just went to the front, which you're not even supposed to do, but I just took a shot and said, "You know what? What's the worst that could happen?" And they said yes, and they called us that same day. And if you don't know, there's actually used to be a barber shop, RIP, in Magic Kingdom, where you could get your hair cut for really cheap. And so I was trying to stall to keep him by the flag. So I got my hair cut. I didn't even need a haircut. I just got one just to try to stall him. And then he said, "We need to move. They're doing the Veteran of the Day parade." And I said, "Yeah, no, you're in it." So it was, they had a Magic Photo Pass person there that took photos the entire time. We videoed the entire thing as a Christmas present. One year I actually put the video together. And played it for him, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. I was bawling my eyes out. It was amazing. It was just so powerful, and it was just. And the coolest part about the entire trip, we thought our highlight was going to be getting to see, to Rob's point, Star Wars, because we were annual pass holders. We were able to get in for the early access, and that happened the day before that happened. So it was just one of those trips where we couldn't go wrong. It was just amazing, and it's just incredible.
Well, in the chat, people are saying I'm crying right now, because it is a very moving story, and being there in the moment and seeing it happen, it just gives you chills. I mean, it's an amazing thing to happen to him. I'm wondering though, this look on his face, it looks like maybe what have you done to me kind of a look here. So
he's kind of he's a really nice guy, but he's got a lot of John Wayne in him. So it was one of those things where I posted that on social and just wrote hashtag my father-in-law is better than yours. So it was just one of those things where he hates this kind of stuff. He doesn't like it. And after the whole thing happened, I mean, at the end of the entire parade, they march you down and they turn it, and literally they clapped for him for like 2 minutes straight. All these cast members came up and shook his hand. All these random people in the park where it was this giant thing, and he was just overwhelmed. And he came over to me and he's just like, "You did this, didn't you?" And then he gave me this big hug, and it was just a really cool moment, and just one of those things that just it was just cool. And my wife just looked at me and was just like, "How did you pull this off?" And I was like, "We got it done, honey." So it was one of those things.
Okay, Rob, it's time for you to one up that one. Also, along those same lines, though, I think this is where if you can win and beat that story, we may get you that tracksuit.
You know, I've already shared my story. Actually, it was the story of my kid, my family. We were also a military family, and as you can imagine, my family didn't make a lot of money. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was just in the military, and they saved their money to take me to Epcot Center for that opening month of the parks, and you know that has stayed with me my entire life, and it actually I think has kind of directed my fascination with technology and my fandom for Disney. And again, you know, a lot of years, 40 years later, it's still, you know, I'm still passionate about Disney parks.
Well, I don't
That's
know.
beautiful, Rob.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know if it's tracksuit worthy, but it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Emma.
So, my favorite thing, and I know we've already seen the picture flash twice, but my favorite memory is honestly just spending time with my family watching the fireworks. You know, as a kid, you know, I was spending a lot of time in the dance studio, and my brother was spending a lot of time playing baseball, and, you know, so it was a lot of divide and conquer, you know, not a lot of time together. So I feel like Disney vacations were the time that we got to spend together. And there was one time, I think, this actually was one of, this is a picture from Wishes, so it was fairly recent, I guess, you know, talking about 8 years ago maybe. But yeah, my dad, you know, was standing next to me, just put his arm around me, and, you know, we just kind of cuddled for a second, and my mom happened to get a candid photo with that, and I thought it was one of the sweetest things, you know, just that quality time spending together as a family when we're also busy is just meant so much to me, and I just love having that photo to remember that. And, you know, I have another fun story that I can share in the post show that's also one of my favorite memories. Oh my God, there's the tracksuit.
Yes. As he said, she's going to bedazzle it for Rob, which is even more exciting.
Yes, I love it.
Super exciting. I will
but
definitely
yeah, that's
contribute
one of
to
my
that fun.
favorite things that I still love about the parks. So.
It's a little disturbing to me, and I hope this isn't wrong to say, how much this looks like it's Jason Diffendahl's arm around you. Like, I mean,
no!
it's like...
You know what? What's even worse is that my dad and Jason are very similar people, so yikes. Anyway, love you, Jason. You're great.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
The unfortunate part is, it was so long ago when I went that they didn't have cameras back then, or they had the guys that put their head under the thing to take a picture. So I don't have any pictures to share my sentimental moment.
Yeah, the under the head babbling you were doing, no idea what you're talking about. But let's move on. Final thing is, and this is the final thing. So again, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for sticking with us. I know it's been a little bit extra long, but again, hopefully it was worth it to you because we all share in this magic of the, you know, of Disney parks, and this one in particular is a huge, huge anniversary for Disney World. So we wanted to celebrate in style. And again, we won't be with you next Sunday night to talk about it, but we will be with you the one after that. So the final question I have for the panel is that what thing, and I'm, because he barely looks like he's paying attention, we're going to start with Rob on this one. What thing are you most looking forward to for the future of the Walt Disney World Resort?
I would say a new CEO who would invest in the company in bigger ways, but that's probably not on the list. But I think in terms of things that are currently on the roadmap is Tron. I really want to get a chance to ride the Tron ride. It looks so incredible. We've been waiting for it for a very long time, and again, I just really want to give it a shot.
Okay, Coach, you cannot pick his answer about the management.
No, I'm actually going to go a different route. I'm looking forward to Super Nintendo World coming in and forcing the Walt Disney World to open a fifth gate. And the fifth gate, in my humble opinion, will be very superhero based and villains based, and it's going to be outstanding. That is my outlook and positive take on it.
Okay, Emma.
I mean, I wish I had that positive of a take as Coach, but I like the sound of that fifth gate. You know, I honestly, and I mean, I've said it time and time before, but is entertainment coming back? You know, I was glad to see that even though it's not the OG Finding Nemo the musical, that something is coming back that is Finding Nemo related and a musical coming into that theater. So I'm hopeful to see more of those things coming back to the parks.
Yeah, I mentioned that I thought for the 50th, what would have made the most sense had all those other projects come together like they were supposed to before COVID, is that they could go look what we've done to Epcot, look what we've done to Hollywood Studios, look what we've done across the board. We now want to do a fifth park. A fifth gate to me is the next evolution of Disney World. We have 26 some hotel resorts. They want to build more. You know, there's a shopping district that I think was a great upgrade. You know, to me, the next plausible step would be for them to do a fifth gate. I'm told that that's not going to happen, but I do agree that maybe if they get in some kind of a pressure system with the Universal, that might happen. But to me, is that I just hope it keeps growing. I hope that it continues to be that thing that we always look forward to. What's next? What's on the horizon? It doesn't really matter. Anytime they do something new, I'm always going to want to know about it. What I don't like is when they get rid of things to put in new things. Mm-hmm. But I do understand that that's part of the way life works. And, you know, I think that the parks are amazing the way that they are. And even though, like I said, there's about 50 things that have gone away that we'll talk about some other time during this 18-month anniversary. But I am really hopeful that we continue to see, you know, more announcements, more growth. Every time I do a D23 Expo and I see them at the parks and resorts, I see all the things that they're announcing, and I just get giddy still to the idea of all the things that are going to be coming next. I hope that that's the same feeling that everyone else here takes away with them, is the what's next, the view of the possible, and that we have a great time this weekend. Please join us for Golden Jamboree if you can. If not, we will definitely see you a week from next Sunday on ParksCenter and talk about the 50th and, again, kind of what's next for Walt Disney World. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're a WIGS member, there is a post show, and if you want more about the WIGS program, you can go to patreon.com/WDWNT. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great night, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace.